wanted to do is I wanted to start future value with you. And first of all, I wanted to introduce you to the formula, and I wanted to explain what each of the different variables means. But I think another thing that's really important for us to discuss is how do we know when we're supposed to use the future value formula? And part of this discussion, I suppose, needs to take place once you've done present value as well, so that you can compare the two with one another. But let's just start we'll start on the left-hand side rather. So the F part is obviously when you want to calculate the future value of a particular investment or savings or whatever the case might be. So that is the future value. So in other words, what's happening here is that money gets paid in every single month, and something that may have started off small now starts to grow over time. Okay, but what's happening is that there are regular payments that are taking place, so it's growing over time in an exponential way. So we know that we have to use the future value formula as opposed to compound interest when they tell us that there is an equal payment that is being made in a particular period. Another word for this equal payment is the word installment. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard that word or your teachers at school have used it, but it's called an installment. So for example, like you have a pension fund, and then every month you make a payment into your pension fund of the same amount of money. That's your installment. We know very well that's our interest rate, and now N is something that's also a little bit different from what it's been before, because when we've been speaking about compound interest, N represents the number of times that the interest is compounded in a particular period, whereas here it doesn't. N represents the number of payments that are made. Okay, so it's very important that we understand what each of these different letters represents, because they would ask us, I mean, they're not going to say to you, solve for X. They're not going to say to you, solve for F. It's going to be in the form of a story, and you're going to have to understand what the story is and then be able to understand which variable they're telling you need to solve for. All right, so how do we know that we're supposed to use future value? Okay, well, first point, okay, it has to be used for an investment. So it's either an investment or it's some kind of savings, or it could be a retirement annuity. Okay, but the implication is that it starts off small and it grows into a future value that is big. Okay. The other time that we know that we have to be using future value is that there has to be an installment. Okay, so with compound interest, there isn't a regular installment that's being paid. So when we look at questions that involve compound interest up to this point, you know, somebody would have put, like in our timeline, somebody deposits money into an account, and then in 2 years' time, they deposit a different amount of money into the account. And then a year later, they take money out of the account, whatever the case is. That's compound interest. So when there is a regular amount of money, there's an installment that's being paid every single month, and it's with the view of saving the money or investing, or it's a retirement annuity, then that is your signal that you need to use the future value formula. Okay, so the first thing that they get us to do with future value is to calculate the value of F. All right, and that's what we're going to largely be concerned with today, is how do we substitute into this formula and calculate F? All right, so the most basic sort of questions they could give us. All right, so let's start here. Suppose that 1,500 Rand is invested every month, starting immediately for a period of 12 months. Interest is at 18% per annum compounded monthly. The future value of the investment after 12 months would be the sum of all the payments together with the interest earned. That's what your future value represents. So essentially what's happening here, Matrix, is this. So let's just look at it like this, because I think timelines are very useful, even though we don't maybe use them every single time. So let's just pop the timeline down. And this takes a little bit of time. Oopsie. And there we go. All right. So from T0 all the way to T12. When they say to us that 1,500 Rand is invested every month starting immediately, the words starting immediately mean that there is a payment at T0. All right, so in other words, there is a payment of 1,500 Rand here and here and here and here, and every single month there's a payment of 1,500 Rand into this account as follows. All right, from beginning to end, the interest rate doesn't change. It's 18% per annum, compounded monthly. So 18% per annum is 0.18. And remember, we have to divide by, so for example, if it's compounded monthly, then we have to divide by 12 because there were 12 months in 1 year. If it says to us that the interest is compounded quarterly, then we have to divide by 4 because there are 4 quarters in a year. Or if they say to us that the interest is compounded half yearly, then or biannually, then it means we would have to divide by 2 because there are 2 half years in a full year. Okay, so now subbing into our formula, we want to calculate our future value of our investment. All right, so our future value is going to be the 1,500 Rand that we deposit into the account, and then this bit is for the interest, 0.18 over 12, and now N represents the number of payments that are made. So in the case of this example here, how many payments of 1,500 Rand take place? You can pop it into the chat. Exactly. All right, now it's 13 because we started counting at 0. Okay, so starting to count at 0 basically means there is an extra 1. Okay, so 12 plus 1, absolutely. Okay, so there are 13 payments of 1,500 Rand. Good show, everybody. And then we have to divide by I as well. So it really is very simple when they ask us to calculate future value in a question like this. And then we would get a mark for subbing into the correct formula. It's very important that you use the correct formula in financial maths, because if you sub into the wrong formula, you'll get no marks. There's a mark for subbing into the correct formula. In this case, there would have to be a mark on N being equal to 13, and then there would be a mark on our answer. So I don't know if you guys want to pop that into your calculator, and then you can share what your answer is. Hopefully we're all getting the same thing. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, yes, that's lovely. Okay. Yes, that's right, Banty, that's the answer. Okay, 21,355 Rand and 24 cents. Okay, so with money, we want to round our decimal place to 2 decimal places, just like we see in the shops. Okay, it's exactly the same idea. So money is always rounded to 2 decimal places. All right, so 21,355 Rand and 24 cents is what would be saved over the period of a year. Just goes to show you how, the power of interest. Okay, all right. Let's have a look at the next question. All right, let me move this over and do that. Okay, so now we're talking about Thomas, and he starts saving money into a unit trust fund. He immediately deposits 800 Rand into the fund. Thereafter, at the end of each month, he deposits 800 Rand into the fund and continues to do this for 10 years. Interest is 8% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the future value of his investment at the end of the 10-year period. Do you feel confident enough to try this on your own? Or do you want me to do it together with you? You feel confident enough to try it on your own. Okay, give it a whiz. Lovely, good stuff, everybody. What I'll do is sorry, everyone. What I'm gonna, oh no, actually that's fine. Do you need me to write the formula down for you? Should I just pop it over here quickly? There we go, there's the formula.
Can we review the answer for the first question? The one above.
Was that wrong?
I've got a different question, and Mihlali just also messaged me that he got a different answer.
Okay, let me just double check that.
Let me just put it in our calculator.
Sure.
Oh, she forgot to put the -1.
Who forgot to put the -1?
Mihlali, because she
got okay.
Answer.
0.18. Yeah, no, I'm getting that. That 21,355.24 is definitely correct.
It was the -1.
No, that's fine. All sorts of things can happen here. All right, so Neo's put down an answer, so has Oratile, so has Vanti. So has Libuwani. Okay, good job, everybody. That's really nice. Well done. Okay, so again, when we read it, we know they're talking about savings. They're depositing a regular amount of money every single month. So those are your clues that you're supposed to be using the future value formula. Absolutely. So our future value would be 800, 1 plus 0,08. Be careful. That's often where people go wrong. We write 0,8 instead of 0,08. It's compounded monthly, so we have to divide it by 12. And now we've got to work out how many payments he's going to make. So again, going back to the beginning, he immediately deposits 800 Rand. This isn't always the case. There isn't always an immediate deposit. We really do have to read the information that's given to us. And thereafter, at the end of every month, she continues to do this for 10 years. So in other words, N is going to be 10 years. There were 12 months in every year, and then there was that immediate payment at the beginning. So we know that N is going to be equal to 121 in this case. All right, and then pop that all over your interest rate and then straight into your future value formula. I think you guys are putting answers up here. Let's just have a look. Okay. All right, well, everybody seems, oh, hang on a second. Lesedi, you got a slightly different answer, 146,356.83. I don't know what happened there, Lissetti, because you should be getting what everybody else has put here is indeed the correct answer. And that's where it is 148,000.
Oh, she forgot to add 1 to 120.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, that does sound. Yes, with pleasure, Timna. Okay, this is actually, you know, it's the hardest part is trying to work out what the value of n is. All right, so again, if we use a timeline, although I won't be able to do every single payment, obviously, because there are 121 of them, so that's quite a lot. But if we have a look at a timeline, okay, so we've got T0, T1, T2, T3, all the way down to 10 years later, where it would be T120. So does it make sense that there would be 120 months in 10 years? So, you know, prior to this, it would be T119, and then it would be T118, etc., etc. Yes.
Why are we adding +1?
Okay, this is what I'm busy explaining. Okay, this is exactly what I'm explaining. All right, and it's because of the language in the question. All right, so it says to us, he immediately deposits 800 Rand into the fund. So when you read the words, he immediately deposits, they are telling you that means that there is a payment at T0. Okay, that's what it means. When they say he's made an immediate deposit, it means there is a payment at T0. It's specific meaning. And then it says, thereafter, at the end of each month, he deposits 800 Rand into the fund and continues to do this for 10 years. All right, so this is him. He put the 800 in immediately, and at the end of the first month, and for every month thereafter, at the end of the month, he faithfully deposits his 800 Rand. Okay, so now when it comes to us calculating the value of N, because of this immediate deposit, he has made 121 payments of 800 Rand and not just 120. Okay. Is everybody happy with that? Does that make sense? So Namhla? Yes, Vanti, you said the right thing. It says immediate payments. That's correct, because it says immediate. It doesn't always start with T0. No, Kaylin, it doesn't always start with T0. Okay, and the next example I think is sort of shows that. So we've got to be very careful when we read this. Okay, we've only added one in this case because we have made an immediate payment. If we haven't made an immediate payment, then we're not just going to go ahead and go and add one. All right, so now read this one. This one you've got to be really careful with as well. So Jessie deposits 400 Rand into an account paying 14% per annum, compounded half yearly in this case. 6 months later, she deposits 400 Rand into the account. 6 months after this, she deposits a further 400 Rand into the account. She then continues to make half-yearly deposits of 400 Rand into the account for a period of 9 years from her first deposit, 400 Rand. Calculate the value of her savings at the end of the savings period. Okay, so this is a little bit different, okay? So here, the interest is not compounded monthly. Also, Jessie is depositing 400 Rand and she's doing it every 6 months. So let's just read the language again very carefully. So Jessie deposits 400 Rand into an account. Okay, so that's plus 400. 6 months later, she deposits another 400 Rand into the account. 6 months after this, she deposits another 400 Rand into the account, and she continues to do so for a period of 9 years. Okay, so she makes half-yearly deposits into the account from her first deposit of 400 Rand. Okay, so from her first deposit of 400 Rand, do we think that in this case, this is going to count as an immediate deposit? What do you think? Yes, you can attempt it first. Okay, you want to attempt it alone. All right, that's fine. Go for it. Attempt it by yourselves, and then we can talk about it. Okay. Neliswa.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Interested to know what you think. Do you think that there's an extra payment in this regard or not when you read this question?
Okay, let me see.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so.
You think there should be an extra payment in this case?
Yes, because there's this statement where they say that she then continues to make half-yearly deposits of 400 into the account for a period of 9 years from her first deposit
of 400 Rand. Yeah, I agree with you. I also think that they are implying, not very well though, not very well. They don't use the word immediate, but I agree with you. I also think that they are implying that there is. Okay, but maybe with this question, and I don't want to confuse anybody, but I think with something like this, yeah, from her first deposit of 400 Rand, yeah, I would say this would count as an immediate payment.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's Boitganshaw. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. You said, but is that said 6? Okay, but be careful. Okay, that's also a point where a lot of people end up going wrong. Okay, and that's because they interpret half yearly. There are not 6 half years in a year. There are 2 half years in a year. Okay, so just be careful. That's somewhere where people often go wrong. What am I doing wrong here? What are you guys getting? Yes, I agree. Okay, that's the answer that I got, Namsa. So, oopsie, what am I doing here? Okay, so future value is equal to 400, 1 plus 0.14 over 2 raised to the power of 19. Ooh, Lesedi. That is a very big number. Okay. So, yeah, I got an answer of 14,951 Rand and 59 cents. Okay, so Sinolo, again, it's the language of the question that makes it so difficult, all right? So she deposits the 400 Rand. 6 months later, she deposits another 400. 6 months after this, she deposits another 400. Then she continues to make half-yearly deposits of 400 Rand into the account from her first deposit of 400. So from this point onwards, she makes these half-yearly deposits, right? That's what they're implying. Okay, so yes, in this case, there would also be an immediate payment. Okay, it's not always the case, but in this case, as with the previous example, it certainly is. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so Namfla, that's how we got to the power of 19. Leroy, you will be penalized for rounding once in your paper, and it's generally in question 1. Of paper 1, but they could choose to penalize you for rounding incorrectly elsewhere, but generally speaking, no. Okay. All right. Is everybody okay with that? Can we move? Okay, so Mihlali, okay. And Kutlwano, okay, I'm going to explain how we got the 19 again. No problem. And again, it's the language of the question that's in this case quite subtle, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to pick up exactly what they're saying. So Jessie deposits 400 Rand into an account, paying 14% per annum compounded half yearly. So that's her first deposit. 6 months later, she deposits money into the account. That's her second deposit. 6 months after this, she deposits another 400 Rand into the account. That is her third deposit. And then it says to us that she continues to make half-yearly deposits of 400 Rand into the account for a period of 9 years. So she's going to make a fourth one, and a fifth one, and a sixth one, all the way through to 9 years from her first deposit of 400 Rand. So in other words, after the deposit of 400 Rand, from this point onwards, she is making deposits of 400 Rand every single month. Okay, so that's why they are implying here that there is an extra payment. I honestly believe with this question that if you used 18, I'm sure they would give you the mark as well. Okay, I think 19 is more correct, but I think that they would give you the mark if you used 18 as well. Okay. Yes, Mihlali.
Ma'am, I'm still confused in how you actually get the 19, because you say Jessie deposits 400 into an account. That's the first payment, right?
Yeah, so Jessie deposits the account deposits 400 Rand into the account. That's the first payment. So here is payment number 1. Okay, this is payment number 1. Here's payment number 2. Here's payment number 3. And then she continues to make half-yearly payments of 400 Rand into the account for a period of 9 years.
So, ma'am, to get that number, you would say 9 times 2, then you get 18, right?
Correct. Correct. So
And
you're
then
going to say, and then you're going to add 1. Yes.
Why the 1, ma'am?
Okay. Because of this first sentence.
So, okay, ma'am, I think my confusion comes to why we're not adding that previous, the previous 400.
I don't understand what you're getting at.
So, ma'am, basically, I'm asking, you see the previous 400 that she deposited,
Okay,
Oh, and
I
also,
think
don't we include that?
Michelle's confusion is from the compounded half yearly. That's where we multiply by 2. But if it's compounded monthly, we multiply by 12.
No,
Is that
I'm not
what you mean,
confused there.
Mitlali?
Let me see the previous 400s that we've already deposited, right? I think it's about 3 that we've
Yes.
already deposited. Why don't we add those ones into the N? Because that's
No,
about 3.
we're including all of them.
But me, I get a total, my N is going to be more than 19 then.
No. So you see, this is where the language of the question, I think, is what makes it so very, very difficult. Okay. But that's not what the language of this question is actually trying to say to you. What they are implying from here, all right, is that when they then say she then continues to make half yearly deposits of 400 Rand into their period account from 9 years from her first deposit of 400 Rand. So this over here was the first deposit of 400 Rand. So from that point onwards, after making that deposit of 400 Rand, from that point onwards, she makes deposits every single 6 months for a period of 9 years. That's what they mean.
So when those 400 Rands that she deposited, they included within that 9
Absolutely,
year
it's
period.
included in the 9. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so what she's done here is she's made 9 times 2 plus this extra one that she made in the very beginning when she opened the account.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that's where the 19 comes from. Yeah, it can be very difficult to interpret, Mitlali. Okay. All right, but I hope that makes sense to you now. Okay.
Yes.
No problem. Okay. Let's have a look at this question. And again, we can debate whether we think that there is an immediate deposit. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. So John deposits 500 Rand in a savings account. At the end of each month thereafter, he deposits 500 Rand into the account and continues to do this for 6 years. So this one is set out a little bit better, all right? Interest is 7% per annum compounded monthly. Calculate the future value of his investment at the end of the 6-year period. Okay, you guys try this one on your own, and then we'll talk about what answer you get. Let's compare answers. Yeah, you guys do work really, really, really. Yeah, immediately I'm getting the same answer as you. Umfile, same answer as you. So the way I understand this question, where they are saying he deposits 500 Rand into a savings account, they are implying that he has deposited 500 Rand at T0. At the end of every month thereafter, he continues to deposit 500 Rand into the account and continues to do this for 6 years. Okay, so he's going to continue doing this all the way to T72. Okay, because 6 times 12 is 72. And that's where he would have put his last 500 in. Okay, so in this case, again, unfortunately, N is going to be equal to 6 times 12, plus we have to consider this initial payment at the beginning. So there would be 73 payments in this case. Palesa, because it says he deposits 500 Rand into his savings account. At the end of every month thereafter, he deposits 500 Rand into the account and continues to do this for 6 years. That's why. Okay, so they're implying that there is an extra payment. You know what I think we need to do? I think we need to do one where there isn't an extra payment. And just have a look at the difference. But again, it's always about the language with these sorts of questions. Let's just do this one. Okay, so we would have had 1 plus 0,07. Be careful about that. Compounded monthly, 73 payments. And then all of the 0,07 over 12. Okay, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I ended up with 45,340 Rand and 52 cents, rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, is everybody all right with this? Yes, there was. So they didn't use the word immediately, Palesa, but that's what they are implying. Okay, so when John deposits 500 Rand into his savings account, they mean that he's doing that at the beginning. Okay, at the beginning of the annuity. Okay, Cabello, that's correct. Correct, Ompile. Okay, so Namhla, this is the problem with English. Okay, so when they say there is a payment immediately, it means there is a payment at T0. But here, when we read this, it also means that there is that initial first payment. Okay, so I know it's a little bit difficult to understand, but that's what it means. Okay, so that's why I'm trying for us to do as many of these questions as possible so that we get into the swing of things. Are we all feeling good? Mostly thumbs up. Oh, good. I'm also pleased to hear that. Okay. What I'm going to do here just trying to think if we, yeah, Inam, I'm also wanting to do another example with you, but now I'm just give me 1 second. Okay, I just want to see if there is see what we can use.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I feel like some
Let's
people.
try.
Oh.
We're going to come back to that one. All right. So let's do this. Why is it so small? Let's just make that bigger.
So while ma'am is still writing the question, do we have anybody new today? Because I feel like some people joined in late, so we didn't get an opportunity to welcome them. So anybody new today besides Aronolo? Oh, hi, Oletu. Welcome to Watobe. Oh, welcome, guys.
Oh, wow. We've got lots of new people, don't we?
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome.
Okay. Oh, very big warm welcome to all of you. Okay, here we go. I am ready. I just wanted to, I think we're going to have to make it a bit bigger than that.
Lloyd, did you want to say something? Your hand is up.
So we've got lots of new people. Oh, it's really, really nice to have you guys here. So Lloyd, what did you want to say? Maybe Lloyd was just indicating that he was also new. Maybe he didn't want to talk.
Oh, okay.
Is my yeah, okay, that's my guess.
Welcome,
Okay,
Lloyd.
Lloyd. You're also just saying that you were new as well. Okay, so Inam, you asked for another example. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. All right. So Peter saves for a deposit on a house. He opens a savings account and deposits 1,000 Rand at the end of every month. Calculate how much money Peter will have saved at the end of 4 years if the interest rate is 8% per annum compounded monthly. Okay. So in this particular question over here, are they implying that he has made an extra payment? Are they implying that there has been a payment made at T0 when you read this question? What do you think, Matrix? No. No, I agree with all of you. Okay, absolutely. There is no payment that is made at the beginning. Okay, no extra payment. Do you see the difference in the language? Okay, because they're not telling you there is a deposit of this much money and then another one of this and then this and then this and then for every month thereafter. Okay, it's quite difficult to pick it up with the language, but definitely you see the difference over here when there is not that immediate payment. So here, when we wanted to work out this one, again, he's saving for a deposit. We can see that he's paying in the same amount of money every single month. So these are our indications that we need to use the future value formula. So he is saving 1,000 Rand every single month. Okay, and his interest rate is 8% per annum. So 0.08 divided by 12. Okay, and now we need to work out the value of N. All right, so how many payments of 1,000 Rand is he going to make if he deposits 1,000 Rand at the end of every month for 4 years? How many payments is he going to make? Indeed, Tsepiso. Oh, wow, you guys have already worked out the answer. Goodness me. I feel so slow. Well done. That's great. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so 48 minus 1. Okay, no extra payment in this case. 0.08 all over 12. Okay, and then of course, we know what to do with this now. We would pop it into our calculator and work out our answer. Okay, let's have a look at all your answers. Okay. All right. Salima, we're going to talk about that now. Yes. Palesa, Leroy, Valerie, Kelebohile, Sagwadi, Senolo. Yeah, there we go. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be 56,349 Rand and 52 cents, correctly to 2 decimal places. Okay, so there was a question about how did we get 48? So what's going on here, all right, is that he is paying in the 1,000 Rand at the end of every single month. Okay, and he's doing this for a period of 4 years. Okay, so in other words, here's the first month. He pays in 1,000 Rand. Okay, here's the second month. He pays in 1,000 Rand, and he continues to do that for a period of 4 years. So there is his last payment of 1,000 Rand. Okay, so there were 48 payments of 1,000 Rand that have been made. Okay, that's right. 92 cents? Oh, it certainly is. Gosh, Maya, and you know what? I've got new glasses. And are they helping? I'm not sure. All right. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, it's 92, not 52. Thank you so much. All right. Let's fix that quickly. Okay. Yeah, Riabiliwe it was a mistake. Sorry. I don't know why I wrote 52 instead of 92. I apologize. Okay. All right. So now the one question that I did want us to talk about was this one over here. All right. So this is before you go and do the quiz this evening. So Here's Dana. She's just turned 20 and she has a dream of saving 8 million Rand by the time she reaches the age of 50. She starts to pay equal monthly amounts into a retirement annuity, which pays 18% per annum compounded monthly. Her first payment starts on her 20th birthday, and her last payment is made on her 50th birthday. The question asks us, how much money will she pay each month? Right? Are they asking us to calculate the future value of Dana's investment? Are they asking us to calculate F? No, absolutely not, right? They want us to calculate exactly. They want us to calculate the value, not the N, not the number of payments, because they're saying to us, how much will she pay each month? That's it. So they want us to calculate the X. We have to find X. So if we are subbing into our future value formula, all right, let's just get it down on the page, our future value formula. X 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1 all over I. They are implying that this 8 million Rand is what is her future value. That's what she wants. So we are going to put our 8 million Rand over here. Okay, X is our monthly installment, how much she has to save or pay in every single month. 1 plus our interest rate, 18% per annum, compounded monthly. Now we got to think very carefully. She makes her first payment on her 20th birthday, and she makes her last payment on her 50th birthday. So how many payments do we think she's made? So her 20th birthday, the 50th birthday. Okay, so that's for a period of 30 years, isn't it? Aha, yes. Good. Good. Yes, Kaylin. All right. So she makes these payments, okay, for 30 years every single month. So that's going to give us 360. But if she makes her first payment on her 20th birthday and she makes her last payment on her 50th birthday, it means that she has made one extra payment. This would essentially count as T0 in this case. And then all the way here, that would be T360. Okay, so 12 a year, including the one on her birthday, on her 50th, but then also one on her 20th birthday as well. Yes, so there's going to be 361 payments of this amount of money. Okay, and a whole lot of you are saying, so 588, absolutely. So what we would have to do here, matrix, is cross multiply and then divide by the square brackets. Okay, but all of you seem to know how to do this really, really well, which is awesome to see. So there are 30 years between your 50th and your 20th birthdays. Okay, so I am getting 558,41 as my answer. Sure, Inan. There you go. There's the question. Yes, Anga, what do you want to ask a question? Go for it.
Hello guys. Miss, can you please can you please give me the keyword for which formula to use? Because I get confused when given a statement and I don't know which formula to use. Can you please give me the keyword which tell us which formula to use?
Okay, so that's what we were talking about at the very beginning of the lesson. How do I know when I'm supposed to use the future value formula? Okay, so we were saying that if they are implying that we are making some kind of investment or a savings or a retirement annuity, and there is an equal monthly installment that's going to be paid, then it's future value. Okay, because what's happening is that money is being paid into an account every single month and it's growing in an exponential fashion over time. Okay, so in the future, as it grows bigger, it amounts into a future value. Okay.